Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, coming at you today with our Playhouse Quarrel Insider podcast. This was, of course, for those guys who don't know what it is, we just staged our production of Playhouse Quarrel, which was a long time coming, as you guys know. For anyone who listens to the podcast on a regular basis, I plug it every week since pretty much September. So, of course, as you remember, we were set to stage in November. Our dear Reg Saunders, lead actor, took a heart attack. We had to postpone, and we just staged it a few days ago, and it went very well. Very, very well. I had a blast doing this one. I not only had a blast doing this, but even leading up to it last year, writing it. It was just the best. I'm trying to sum up all my words here in this intro. And it was also an honor to have as a scripts consultant for this one the great Norm Foster, who, the most produced playwright in Canada. He was on this podcast back in May. He goes through a lot of the scripts that I write, send it to him, get his feedback on it. And it was great to have him on board for this one here to, lend his expertise and really get the script to the best that it could possibly be. And I think that we accomplished that. I was very proud with how it turned out. And it was only made better by the performance from everybody in my cast. Everybody did a terrific job, and I couldn't be more proud of them. And this one, it honestly feels like this one was cursed a little bit because we had a lot of things going on with this one. So, of course, taken back to when I first conceived this idea, it was around the time in 2021 we staged Laughter on the 23rd Floor by Neil Simon with CM Productions, which was basically writers working in a writer's room for TV. And that's basically when I first thought of the idea, because I always loved those types of stories. People working in an office, like The Office. I'm not a big Office person, but I like it. The odd time here and there, and also maybe a little bit of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's set in a pub. Obviously, this isn't a pub, but that kind of a vibe. That same vibe is kind of what I was looking at, and I always liked that. And Laughter on the 23rd Floor was the first time that I not only saw a play like that, but also took part in it, and it was so much fun. And so jotted ideas down for it, and you just get busy with stuff, and I would come back to the script every now and then over the years, and it got to, I think it was February last year, 2023, when I think it was sooner than that. It was December. It was December. I was trying to go back, and I have my calendars all in front of me. And December was when I thought, okay, maybe I might do this in November. And so kind of just started working on the script from then, had people in mind. And then that's so in between all of our other projects from December on, got the script into the best shape I could with some amazing help from people involved. Cindy Rule, of course, who was in the show and is on the podcast today. We had worked on it together as well. Norm, who else did I have? Lots of opinions on it. And so then we started the read-through in August, and went from there. Things were going good. We got to dress rehearsal in November, and things were going good. It's bad when dress rehearsal goes better than expected. I'm like, okay, something's going to happen. And then, of course, Reg had his health scare, which, so glad he was able to bounce back off. He was unfortunately not able to take part in the podcast today, but big shout out to him and Tristan Eisner, who wasn't able to be here, who played RJ, and, of course, Naomi Wallace, who was our technical director. And also, too, I just want to say, so originally, you guys probably know, for those of you guys around in Miramichi who see the posters, I was in the role of Teddy and not the great Thomas Hare, who's in every show we do. Fortunately, the week before the show, he was not able to do it. Some things came up, and was unable to do, because it is a very physical performance that we had to give. And so we talked it out. I said, look, I'll play it. I got you covered, man. and I had a lot of fun with it, really. And so big shout out to Thomas for everything he did for it, and really laid the foundation. It really wouldn't have been what it was without seeing what he did with it. It's one thing to write it and to do it that way, but to have someone already lay the foundation for you and give you a rough idea of this is how it can look, and then you just take it and go from there. I couldn't have done it without Thomas, and he even helped a little bit behind the scenes where he could have, and working the concession stands and everything. So big shout out to him. And was sad he was not able to play Teddy, but you guys will see him again at some point, and was super grateful for all he gave us. So we picked it back up, of course. The rehearsals it was around mid-January or so when we finished our night of one acts while Reg was recovering, and then we just went from there and couldn't be more proud. It was a success. The audience reception was really good, and overall had a lot of fun. It was probably one of the longest productions that ever took. The last one one of them, because of course we had our night of one acts, our very first dessert theater, which was set to be in October that year, and then COVID protocols came into play, and then we had to do it in June, and it kind of worked. It really, really did work. But anyways, so that's that. I'm going to give a little recap of the show. Some of you guys might be listening to this who, didn't see the show or whatever, and don't know what we're talking about. You can feel free to skip this episode if you want, if you're not interested. But I always love this because, as I mentioned before in some of my other ones where I talk about like my favorite podcasts, shows like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, even Walking Dead does a little bit of this. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Full House Rewind. There is one like that too. I love behind the scenes podcasts. It really, I just love them so much. It inspires me immensely. It inspires me creatively because when you're working in such a creative field, and collaboration's a big thing, teamwork. I just think it's so inspiring, and for people who are listening to this that want to get involved with something like this, I want to help teach them that this is kind of what goes into it. This is what so kind of like what all those podcasts had done for me. But basically, I'll give a little recap of the play. I kind of did. I'm a fan of Man of Recaps on YouTube, so definitely check out some of his recaps if you want to get recapped on some stuff. This is something similar. It's not, might not be exactly. I should have just reached out to him, got him to it. So, Playhouse Quarrel is set in Moncton, New Brunswick, in the upstairs apartment of the Teddy Wood Playhouse, a theater company that also has a cafe. Its general manager, Teddy Wood, has been living in the upstairs since he and his wife, Pam, split for apparent amicable reasons. Teddy is having a sexual relationship with his choreographer, Sarah Pinelawn. The artistic director, RJ, suggests to Teddy that they do another play, which Teddy agrees after much convincing. Sarah receives a visit from her former employer, Rod Foley, from the Foley Playhouse in Nova Scotia. Foley was also Teddy's mentor in his early days. He and Sarah catch up with one another, where it's revealed that Sarah was fired from his company because of his neurotic father, who has now retired and left the company to Rod. He then offers Sarah a job, who, after much reluctance, agrees to take it. When Teddy finds out, he loses it, but Sarah decides to stay until they stage their next play, which was set to be Hamlet, but Teddy's like, nah, you know what, scrap Hamlet, I got a better idea. Instead, they stage a play called The Portrait, about a horrible alcoholic named Bob Hoagie. A month and a half into rehearsals, Sarah furiously confronts Teddy upon discovering that the Bob Hoagie play was actually about Rod Foley, detailing Foley's shady past and just changed the names. Disgusted with Teddy's behavior, Sarah immediately quits and breaks Teddy's heart, resulting in him going off the grid. 1 week later, RJ is running the ship, and everyone in the company, Billy, Maggie, Amanda, and Daisy, are ready to move on from Teddy, but RJ isn't. We learn that RJ was once a professor before coming to work with Teddy, but left it all up to work at a place where he felt appreciated. Sarah and Foley suddenly arrive for a visit where Foley threatens to sue the company for the defamation script, The Portrait. RJ agrees to cease production under the condition that Foley and Sarah stay to help them stage Hamlet like they originally planned. Initially hesitant, Foley's like, fuck it. End of Act 1. Act 2 begins with Foley running the Teddywood Playhouse 1 month later, and unlike Teddy, he is very caring and appreciative. He then lets it slip that RJ made a deal and sold TW Productions under Teddy's orders in a legal document that he wrote before his departure. This would leave the cafe, but the theater company would be gone. Sarah and Foley talk in private, where Sarah tells him the truth about Teddy and Pam's divorce. Pam cheated on Teddy with her old high school boyfriend in their own bed, which then led to their sexual relationship. But Teddy keeping the secret about Pam's misdeeds changed him completely, turning him into the horrible man that we see at the start of the play. Foley urges Sarah to accept that Teddy is gone. When she does, surprise, Teddy is back. Teddy was on a bender for weeks, and he arrives back at the apartment wasted. He makes a phone call to Pam and finally unburdens himself. After reuniting with Sarah, Teddy is eager to turn over a new leaf until Foley arrives and informs him of the big sale. Teddy reads the document and learns that RJ forged the document, unable to imagine the place without Teddy. A major fight ensues, Playhouse Quarrel, when RJ enters, resulting in Daisy getting injured and Teddy collapsing drunk and hitting his head. The next day, Teddy has a concussion where he makes amends to RJ, Foley, and Sarah and learns that the big sale is off. However, Teddy encourages Sarah to go to Nova Scotia with Foley and end the relationship amicably. Teddy then announces to his staff that RJ will be his new co-manager and Daisy will be the new artistic director. The cast then heads off stage to the cast then heads off to stage their dress rehearsal for Hamlet, and that's where Playhouse Quarrel comes to an end. Wow. Whew. That was fun. I just gotta catch my breath now. That was fun. So obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, dialogue and character development, stuff like that. But that's basically the gist of the show, and it is copyrighted, so nobody take that. I did copyright it. I did start doing that with all my shows, copyrighting them. So, that's the rundown of the show. I gave you a little bit of the history. Now let's get on to the podcast with the guests. That was a long-ass intro. So, of course, today we are joined by myself as the writer, director, and Teddy. I play Teddy. And we have Annika Fournier, who played Sarah, Cynthia Jokes, who played Daisy, Sean Rule, who played Billy, Cindy Rule, who played Maggie, and Patty O'Shea, who played Amanda. So sit back, relax, guys, and enjoy the Insider podcast today. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very special episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, coming at you for our Playhouse Quarrel Insider podcast. I am very, very honored to have some of the cast on here. We're missing a few of them, but I was able to get some of them. First off, to my left, there's no point in saying what direction they're in because you guys can't see this anyway. We have Sean Rule, who played Billy. Hi, Sean.
Hello. Hi, how's it going, Frankie?
And then right below Sean, we have his lovely wife, who also played his on-stage wife, Maggie, Miss Cindy Rule.
Hello.
And beside her, we have Cynthia Jokes, who played the very colorful makeup artist and clumsy actress. Just a wreck she was, for those of you guys who saw the show. Cynthia Jokes. Cynthia, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. Good to be here in one piece.
Yes, that's the main thing. And then besides Cynthia, we have Annika Fournier, who has been on this podcast many times. And I said, okay, I might as well have her back on. I might as well. Annika Fournier, who of course played Sarah.
Hi, Frankie. Thanks for having me back.
It's okay. No. And then last but not least, we have Patty O'Shea, who played Miranda Jones. Patty, how's it going?
It's Amanda. Thank you.
Yeah.
For
those of you guys listening who didn't see the show, yeah, that's the joke. I fuck up her name all the time. It's kind of funny. But so yeah, guys. So yeah, as I mentioned off the top, this show has been a long time coming. It's probably the longest I've ever, probably one of the longest. We've had some with COVID and stuff like that, but this was long because of course Reg. By the way, Reg, who couldn't be here tonight. But shout out to Reg. Of course, had his health scare back in November, pushed it till now. Cynthia, we'll start with you. being that, so we were so close, literally so close. We went from, like dress rehearsal, the episode happened, and then we had to postpone till now. What was it like picking things back up after such a long hiatus? Was it hard slipping back into it, or was it just like riding an old bike?
It was probably a surprise in terms of just the loss, but then the quick regain. Like, it was obviously there somewhere in the back corners of the brain because of course we had Christmas and Boxing Day and I was going to say Easter, but no, we haven't had Easter yet. New Year, so we've done a lot of living since November. So yeah, so it was. I'll have a easy but answer to you there, Mr. Corcoran.
It was a bumpy ride, a bumpy ride.
Bumpy. That's a good answer. I like that. I'm gonna borrow that. Bumpy ride.
Yes. Well, it's funny that you mentioned, because of course we had Christmas and New Year's and Boxing Day and all that stuff. But for Patty, we also had another lead role that I had her play in our dessert theater, which it's okay. First she had the Playhouse Quarrel lines, and then okay, put that in the back of my mind. Now I got to learn this two-person show, and then now get back to it. Patty, how was it for you? It must have been a roller coaster the last few months I put you through.
It was more draining than I thought it would be. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was a lot of work for a short amount of time.
But you
Let's say that.
survived. You did. It didn't drive you away. You were
Yeah, I
still, yeah, I'll
survived.
come work for you,
Yeah,
That's got to count
yeah,
for something.
it's good. The lines will continue to go through my mind for a few more weeks, but
Well, that's the hard part, because we were, for so long, it was just, that's all we were doing for a show, and now it's like, oh shit, now we're done now. It's crazy. Annie, how about you? Because then, of course, you also directed a show in between there. We were doing stuff with Character Matters. What was it like picking this back up after 4 months?
Oh, well, uh, it was it was definitely more so, I won't say overwhelming, but there was a lot of things on one plate, and I don't think I've ever done that much before in my life in terms of acting and directing, but it was an interesting adventure for sure. I got to learn a whole lot and test my limits on my memory. It was great, kind of frightening, but great. To direct again was amazing and really, really fun. I haven't directed a one act in a long, long time, and being like the director of a show was thrilling again. And then coming back to Playhouse Quarrel, it was kind of like welcoming back an old friend. And I was so excited to do it, and I was so excited to work with the cast again and be on stage with everybody and stress behind the curtains with everybody. But it was definitely a brand new challenge, and one of the longest challenges considering it has been since November, but it was a lot of fun and a lot of twists and turns.
It was almost like every morning you wake up and you're like, okay, like what's gonna happen now? Who's gonna have something now? It's
Who am
just
I
like,
messaging?
yeah, who's messaging now? As soon as the phone vibrates, I'm like, oh shit, what happened?
Is it
And it's
Frankie?
just, yeah, it's just yeah, Frankie. So what time do we be there? I'm like, okay, thank God. Make sure everybody's okay. Sean, Cindy, how about you guys? Or Cindy, we'll start with you. I was like, who do I start with? Just roll the dice. One of them. Cindy, we'll start with you. What was it like jumping back into it after such a long hiatus?
It actually wasn't too bad, and that's easy for me to say because I wasn't one of the major characters. So, I didn't have to worry about keeping all those monologues in my head. It's funny though, because usually at the end of a play, when I know a play is completely over, my brain is like, okay, we're done. And literally the brain just says, all these lines can go. And I won't remember lines from plays that I have been in before, maybe a scattered few, maybe a song lyric here and there. But as soon as my brain doesn't need the information anymore, it goes. So a lot like math. actually, after I finished writing an exam. Just gone. Who needs logarithms? Anyway, so with this play, because I knew we were going to be doing it, it's like this little corner of my brain was like, okay, we're just going to keep this in reserve. It's like a chicken rotisserie. They just kept going and going, just waiting and basting until it was time to, to bring them out again. So I actually didn't find it too bad. There was a couple of lines that a word here and there, but mostly my brain was like, yep, we still got it. But now, within like a week, don't ask me what my lines are. It'll be gone. So
Yeah, by the way, we're doing an encore on Saturday. Just so you guys know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find somebody new.
Find someone else. Yeah.
Recast.
Something. I'll go on.
Okay.
Sean, how about you? How was it for you jumping back into it?
It's hard for me to give a better answer than what Cindy just gave. Actually, yeah, no, it wasn't as she said it wasn't that bad for me. I didn't have, like you said, like Cindy said, like we weren't the main characters, right? We were kind of sorry, I still have that cough there. We were kind of running around in the background a lot. So we didn't have huge swaths of dialogue the way Annie and Reg and you yourself had, right? So yeah, really didn't was not to sound like, yeah, easy breezy, it's fine, all good, but that's kind of how it was. Yeah, it was pretty they came back pretty quick. So, and I liked Cindy's analogy of the rotisserie chicken, or like the heat lamp at McDonald's. It was just kind of there, just keeping warm until it was time for the play again. Yeah,
that's perfect. Actually, that's perfect. It also probably helps because you guys are a married couple in real life, and you also played a married couple in this show. Which, yeah, by the way, guys, spoil. Yeah, plot twist. They're actually married. For those of you guys who didn't know, what's it like when you guys are playing a married couple on stage? Because, of course, I remember back last year when it was, of course, Taylor and Allison and Brandon and Lisa on for chapter 2, and they were just talking about their experiences acting on stage as a married couple and then going home as a actually real married couple. How is it for you guys in that situation?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I guess. Sure. Yeah, no, it was, I don't know, like it's kind of funny because normally when you're doing a show and you're supposed to be playing character who's in a relationship with someone else, there's that period of adjustment, right? Of actually feeling comfortable with that person and trying to, and just basically work through that so you can feel comfortable enough to act comfortable enough. But obviously that's all skipped, right? With us, because we're, it's just the kind of the little stuff we were doing. We were adding in, we were high-fiving and stuff like that. Like that's stuff we do at home when one of us makes a stupid joke, right? So it just came naturally. So it was fine. Yeah, it was good. You didn't need that period of the actors getting to know each other, because we knew each other. We know each other pretty good, I think. I hope. Cindy?
Hope so.
I don't know.
30 years later.
After 30 years later, yeah, we just got to know each other.
Yeah, no, it's funny though. I think for me, what Sean said is correct. We didn't have to go through that period of, okay, or how comfortable are we? How affectionate can we be with each other? Is there a boundary that we need to set prior? Because as a married couple, you don't really have to worry about that. I mean, if it didn't fit the characters are an estranged married couple, of course, that's a completely different thing. But you wrote the characters to be close and comfortable, so it worked. In the play that we actually ended up not doing, your play about the quarantine that Sean and I had to back out of.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I found that play harder to do with Sean because his character was such a jerk. And I found often when we were rehearsing that I was getting mad at him because and he's like, I'm not Dale. Stop, I would never do that. So I found that actually a little bit harder. So I don't think I would probably enjoy being in a play with Sean if we were a couple that didn't get along, or if I was a real B and and had to be mean to Sean. in a way that I would worry that might affect the dynamic of our day to day. And it shouldn't, but and because, like I've been in plays with friends before and it doesn't affect our relationship. We're fighting, but it's different when you're married and you don't want your intimacy ruined because he said that. It's like a dream, right? Where your spouse cheats on you and you wake up in the morning, you want to punch them. And it's like, it didn't happen. It's a similar thing with a play for me anyway. But Sean and I haven't had a chance to act with each other a whole lot. So even though we met in theater school, so this is really, really nice actually to be in a play with Sean where we had a really amicable relationship that was basically just our characters are slightly different than who we are in real life. So the physicality and the intimacy and the fun between the characters was very natural.
It was very the way you did it. Well, I liked it because you're like, I want Maggie to be, and Billy for that matter too, to be different from the other characters. Like we have Teddy where he's angry, we have Daisy where she's just over the top crazy. You're like, I want Maggie and Billy to be a little more like laid back, and it was almost like Pineapple Express-y. It was like we're like, yeah, like a stoner comedy.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe they were doing some stuff in the back. No, not really. I'm just saying. Like, who knows what Maggie and Billy were doing off set? But I never usually get to play a character like that either, where it's sort of like casual and fun. Usually, I'm really a serious character, and this was a different one for me. I really enjoyed her.
Just very lighthearted and no, I mean, as far as we know, Billy and Maggie seem to be on good terms. Who knows, like, what goes off stage, but let's just not think about that. Let's think about the happy, what we saw on stage.
Yeah.
That's the next play. We're doing a spinoff.
The Billy and Maggie Chronicles.
Billy, the Wormhole Chronicles.
There you go.
And so Cynthia, I mean, for you, like it was so big for you to get back up on stage after, it's been a crazy year for you too. And just being back on stage, I know for you was just, you're like, it was just a blessing. And what was it like coming back to this as such a wild, over the top, what's the word I'm looking for? Colorful character.
Frankie Corcoran, you are going to put me in tears, and I'm not even out of the gate. Good Lord. Separate life and drama, reality. Yeah, so for your listeners, yeah, I have had a very tumultuous year, and you mix that with grief and major health scares and realities and changes. It has been a blessing, a true blessing. I lived a lot of life in those 2 nights. So yeah, thank you. Let's throw it to my nursemaid, the gal that was always making sure that my toe was truly broken. And let me say this, Patty, I got to throw this to you before I even forget. And sorry, Frankie, but
No,
I
go
don't
for it.
say it now. This is another part of what I'm dealing with. Second night, curtain call. So I'm the first one out. And so I come out and I'm trying to show the audience that yes, my legs work, my arms work, and running up to the front, the apron there for the bow. And I got stuck because I looked at the house lights came on, and I looked at the very back, and there was our boy Thomas. And I just went, and I was like out of character. It was like, there he is. There's our boy Thomas. And you can take that or to leave it, Frankie, but I'll pitch it to you. But I just was like, and then I got stuck. It's like my feet literally were like magnets that were stuck on the ground. And along comes Patty and gives me a little hip check. And I was like, oh, God love you. Yes, thank you, Patty. But it was so, going back to our character, it was perfect, because I was stuck and she got me unstuck. I just was so excited to see who all was there when the house lights came on, and wasn't expecting to be so like,
Well, especially with that spotlight, because Patty, you even said you're like, when that spotlight's on, like that one, shout out Brian Siddle, by the way, for that awesome spotlight. You can't see the crowd, and you're like, that's exactly what I want. Why is that? Why do you not like to see the crowd whenever you do shows? Some people it helps to see who's out there. Some people, like yourself, it's just better to just not see. How is it for you, really? It's Patty. Your mic's muted.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were still talking to Cynthia. Sorry, just like in class, I'm not paying attention. Um, what's it like being able to see the audience or not see them?
Or like, why do you prefer not being able to see them?
Because I don't want to see who's there. I might inadvertently zone in on somebody and it's like, oh, that's so and so. And then my mind starts going other places. I'm not nervous to be on stage, but I want to stay in character. And if I can see the audience, that sort of makes part of my brain revert back to reality. And I just want to be in my little acting world and not know who's out there, who's watching, if they're smiling, if they have a sad face. It's just that's just the way my brain works. I prefer not to know.
Don't break the illusion. But your character though, oh my gosh, I remember like even just writing it, I had you in mind for it. Uh, what traits about Amanda really stuck out to you as like, yeah, I'm not acting for this. I'm like, like this is just was there anything like that at all? Because I remember as soon as you saw it, you're like, yep, she's great. I love it. Like I'm already
Well, one thing was all the jobs that I have to do. I tend to do more jobs than I am qualified for / paid for at my own place of employment. I shouldn't say not qualified for, but you know how when you do something well, you're given many more things to do. So that part of it was hitting close to home. And strangely enough, last night before we went on stage, I was talking to Sean and Cindy, and we were snickering behind the curtain because I said, I'm delivering mail. That's the very first thing that I do in the play is like, oh, I was just delivering your mail. Well, that's what I do. That's my job as a postmaster. And I had this thing where it's like, I could put that down and then turn and like wink at the audience. Like, that's what I do. I mean, we wouldn't have done that, but we had all these little side ideas that we thought about pulling last night. So yeah,
it would have been amazing though if you'd had just a pause and a wink. I mean, not in an alternate reality.
Master Patty.
Yeah. So that part of it was reality. The telling people off, I don't do that. I mean, people get frustrated and they think things, but I wouldn't talk to anybody in that manner verbally. In my head, maybe, but no, I wouldn't be telling people off like that.
All right, so sorry, folks. We are back. I had to edit that out. Patty just told me to go fuck myself. Welcome back to the show, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're funny.
Oh dear. Yeah, she's like, you're funny, but fuck off, really. Oh, there, Annie's got her mic muted. She's just. But speaking of Annie, yes, Annie. It was so great. Like you and I thought we work really well together. I mean, like, we've been working together since high school. You know what I mean? Like, I think the way you and I just slipped into it was just really good. How would you describe, the Sarah character as a whole, what you liked about her, and what are you gonna miss about her? What do you think is really stuck out to you about her?
She kind of hit home a little bit to me in a way, just that she needs to, she found it most important to herself to move on and better herself, put her career first, put herself first. And I need to start doing more of that. So in a way, Sarah kind of gave me the power to start doing that. I wanted to present her as someone that, in the words of Cindy in the show, she was kind of submissive, but she wasn't in complete, like, control of herself at the point that she was with Teddy, as much as she was at the start of the show. More so, I wanted to present her as she went on and forward with Rod and progressing her career. I wanted her to get stronger in her confidence, in herself, in her career, to make her life have more of a turnaround point, that things are improving, things are progressing better for her future. Not that that's a move against you, Frankie, I promise. I promise.
Whoa.
No, I promise.
Uh,
Because it's true, we do work well together, and I really appreciated the chance to work with you again. Because I think we make this joke every single time that we are put together. We were married multiple times in high school. There's a lot of theater kids somewhere. Promise that. And it was just nice to Cindy, don't laugh. But it was really nice to be able to work with you again and just have that onstage presence with you. It was very, very fun and kind of like reinvigorating to do again.
No, it felt great. Like it really, really did. And then, I mean, like, of course, Teddy and Sarah, they had their flaws. They had their,
Oh,
their
yes.
relationship was
Oh,
very.
yes.
I remember we were talking about the ending where I was like, okay, so of course, the big premise of the play is that Teddy's trying to keep Sarah there at all costs, and there was no way in hell I wanted to go with a happy ending where it was like, oh, it's all happy and she stays and stuff like that. I just said I don't want to do that. There might be some people that say, "Oh, that would have made it." It's like, no, like, do you not know who Teddy is? Like, you can't do that. Like, where do you stand on that? And why do you think it was best for her to, even though Teddy, by the end of the play, he's changed, he's trying to anyway, he's trying his best. How do you see that now? Like, how Sarah moves on, and was it the right call? Where do you stand on that?
I do really find that you made the right decision, and I think you executed it perfectly. Because even though it wasn't a happy ending necessarily for Teddy and Sarah together, they individually got their own versions of a happy ending. Sarah did get to move forward with her life. She got to do more with her career. She wanted to do more choreography, and she's getting that chance to do something amazing with Rod. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean Teddy's in the picture anymore with her, but that does mean that Teddy can grow on his own. He can learn to improve. He can progress his own company in his own way, and he's doing that by giving other people chances and opportunities in their own right. And I think, you know, I'll say this in a lighter tone, but separation from somebody doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. I'm sure Sarah and Teddy would be friends. I'm sure they would still maybe like send a message or write a letter, but I don't believe that a happy ending in the terms of a happily ever after would have been possible if Sarah did stay with Teddy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because I've seen many plays where the married couple goes through hell. One cheats on them and the other cheats on them. And then at the very end, it's all happily ever after. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it's a play, like, and whatever, but I'm like, really? I'm like, how the hell could that, you know what I mean? So I mean, I might have been looking in them too much, but I was like, I never wanted to go that way. I was like, just, it's realistic. It's, just, maybe they stay friends in the future kind of thing. But anyway, everybody has their own arc throughout this show, though, which I mean, like, of course, Amanda went from, oh, fuck this place, fuck this boss, whatever, and I'm not doing this. Oh God, I'm tired of this. And then by the very end of the play, Teddy says, "Can somebody pay my visa for me?" Yeah, I'll do it. Like, she jumps right on it. Daisy has the job that she always wanted, artistic director, which is, much to everyone's dismay. And I was thinking this too, well, because then RJ has his where he gets to be co-general manager. What would you, Sean, Cindy, what would you guys describe Billy and Maggie's? Because theirs wasn't exactly necessarily they went through this big arc. It was almost like they may have been warming up to the idea of liking it there more than they did before. Like, how do you guys see that? Because there's many different ways to look at it, I guess.
Well, I mean, just to before I talk about Billy's art, I just wanted to say in regards to what you're talking about with Annie, jump back a topic there. Yeah. It's funny because a lot of the people I talked to after the show, they considered it a happy ending. Like, there were a lot of people that I talked to that said it was nice to see a happy ending. So just to speak to Annie's point of it might not have been a happy ending in terms of the traditional, like you said, happily ever after, but I think the audience saw that they were better apart than together and better as friends than as a couple. And so that message, congratulations to you, because that message totally came across.
Oh,
Because
thank you.
everybody I talked to, yeah, no, I was just saying, everybody I talked to after the show, it was like it was nice to see that. Now maybe they were just maybe they were just saying in contrast to Death Cost Dearly, the last one, because that was, there were a lot fewer corpses on the floor at the end of it.
Sean
But so it's a
ended that
happy
play
ending by
dead. In
comparison,
this
but
play, he's happy.
but
Yeah, your corpse wasn't on the floor, honey. This
yeah,
is
I didn't die, but no,
Yeah.
I was so
I
happy
think
for you.
Yeah, he got through
you
it.
lived in the last play, but no, yeah, no, so just, yeah, no, congratulations, yeah, because it's although you say it wasn't a traditional happy ending, people did get it. It was communicated that people saw it as the most positive outcome. So I think that's very cool. So, but in terms of Billy and, well, I can't speak to Maggie's arc. That's Cindy. But in terms of Billy's arc, you're kind of right in that I kind of felt like Billy's arc was sort of. Is there such a thing as like a non-arc where it's just like what came across as Billy is that he didn't learn anything? Like that's sort of the point of Billy, is that he learns nothing. Because he was kind of a grumpy dude at the start, and he's kind of just a bit of a. I mean, guess he's less grumpy at the end, but because with Billy, and I didn't really mention this before, but I mentioned it to Cindy backstage, that I'm kind of channeling my grandfather a little bit, not my mom's dad, but my dad's dad. And we used to call him Grumpy. Like instead of Grandpa, we called him Grumpy. So that was kind of the idea behind Billy, was I was going to try and be my grandfather, but he certainly never changed.
You channeled a bit
I
of
guess.
Mike Armanchard from Breaking Bad
Yeah.
at the start of it. I remember
That's-
because you were trying many different things. All right,
Yeah,
here's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
We're going
yeah,
to
yeah,
build
yeah.
the set. And
Yeah. Yeah, we did
But
talk about that too.
yeah, I talked about Mike a little bit because I love
We
Jonathan
love
Banks,
Mike.
Love
obviously.
Mike.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess if Billy has any arc whatsoever, it's just that I guess he just kind of learned to accept change. I guess maybe it's just because so many changes happen in the course. Cindy's got her
Yeah.
hand up.
Well, no, I have some, like, for Billy, I think that you're not giving Billy enough credit. I think he was a very supportive person who's kind of like the rock of the place. He's like, maybe he's not going to change, but he helps other people change. You're super supportive of
Okay.
RJ. You're like, even though maybe you insulted Daisy a little, you're like, she's still here. She's doing her thing, like, and with Sarah, you're like, okay, good for you. You're moving on. And I think your character is like the rock, like I'm gonna be sturdy, I'm gonna do my thing, and you allow the change to happen around you, which I think
I'll
is
take
good.
that. Sure, I'll
that's
take
a good.
that.
That's good. Annie, how about you? You got your hands up.
I did. I think this is the communication signal now. But on Cindy's note, that fits perfectly. That's beautiful. That is exactly it. Especially because he's he's the set designer.
Yeah.
He's in construction. He's made to put things and keep things together.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Okay,
I didn't think
yeah,
about that.
Yeah. Sorry, that was.
I like it. No, that's great.
I didn't even
I'll
consider
take
that.
all
I'm
of
finding
it.
out all these
Are you
things about the
waving?
show.
What's going on? Is Patty? You want to say something? You're waving. No.
Ah, no.
Oh, you're drinking.
That might be it too.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I missed this. I missed this already. But Cindy, how about Maggie? What would you say about Maggie?
Well, I think that Maggie really, really loved being the manager of that cafe, and the acting was the side hustle. Like, yeah, I kind of added it in the part where RJ announces that even though TW Productions is pretty much sold lock, stock, and barrel, the cafe's still going. Like, I don't know if anybody. I turned to the side and I was like, fist pump, because it was like, yes, I still. And yes, so Little Miss I still have a job, as Daisy so lovingly put. I was very happy because I think that's her identity was, I'm the manager. This is my foundation. Yes, the acting is nice, but the cafe I felt for Maggie was her happy place. And her foundation for the Playhouse. So I don't know if she really had an arc per se, except to be supportive of Billy, really, and keep the coffee going.
Yeah, because I was trying to think before we went on, like going through all the characters' arcs and how they changed, and then once I got to Billy and Maggie, I'm like, fuck, did they really have an arc? And so I'm like, I'll see what Sean and Cindy got out of it. Maybe they got something out of it. But I mean, hey, that's what do they say on BoJack Horseman? Isn't art less about what people make and more what people get out of it? Something like that. I probably just butchered that. It was something like that. That's what I'm going
I haven't
for.
watched a single episode, so I'll just have to trust
Watch
you.
it.
So
I suggest watch it, guys.
yeah.
But
anyway,
on that,
yeah. It's. I love Maggie anyway. Like I said, and I don't often get to play characters like her, so I liked her easygoing nature, and I just had fun playing her. So arc or not, she was a fun character. So.
Can't wait for the spinoff. It's gonna be awesome. The Wormhole Chronicles is coming soon. So, guys, as we're wrapping up this segment and this episode, I'm gonna go through each of you, and you guys, sum up the whole experience on the show as a whole, what you like, whatever you want, and just overall thoughts. Cynthia, I almost said Cindy. I was like, Cindy was just talking. I'll go to Cynthia. I'll split it up. I'll go all around. Cynthia, we'll start with you. Just your overall thoughts on the experience.
Oh God, I was sitting here thinking, oh, please don't make me start. Please don't make me start. Okay. First
Eeny meeny.
Eeny meeny, miny mo, Daisy. Oh. Yeah. So overall, just truly a remarkable group of people here on the Miramichi. Talent galore. I'm grateful to be part of it. Grateful to have the supported followers of Corcoran Entertainment, come out and demonstrate such confident, supportive of all of our efforts. Maybe I feel, Cindy and Sean are going to get the word choice of the evening award. So, but definitely you guys are on a roll there. I'm just sitting back going, man, I had to bow out, but I stayed because I'm loving the word exchange going on here, and the thoughts and the arcs and the whatnots and the set. I'm thinking of the set that Billy kept this all together with, despite the fact you couldn't find a Robertson or a Phillips or a big huge bow on it. I'll wrap it up with a big bow with a big old thank you. Just always thank you, an honor and a privilege to be part of your pursuits there, Frankie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cynthia. You're the best. You are the best. And thank you so much. Thank you for being Daisy. Daisy couldn't have been done by anybody else. Annie, how about you? What do you got? What do you got for me?
Oh no. I thought you were gonna go to Patty next.
I was going to. I'm like, no, I was gonna fuck it.
Overall thoughts was it was an amazing show. I had so much fun is the regular cliche answer, and it's very, very true every single time. I couldn't have asked for a more perfectly fit group of people to work with, and it was so amazing to work with you guys. I love working with you guys so much. It was perfectly fit. It was beautiful. Every practice was fun. And I would one more time before the show is like done from verbal terms. I am sorry for hitting you so hard, Frankie.
It's fine.
I apologize.
God, she kept coming up to me backstage. Are you okay? You okay? I'm like, yes, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. She actually slapped me. For those of you guys who were wondering, that night she actually slapped me for real. And there was a 2-month time jump in the next act, and I still had the face. It was still on my face.
He was slightly red after the show too. We were having an emotional moment after the slap, and Frankie's eyes were getting watery, and I know it was because of the emotion, but I actually had a tear fall down my right eye. That wasn't the emotion. That was because I hit Frankie.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Overall, it was just. Besides that, it was a really fantastic show. It was so much fun. The story was amazing. The people were great, and I had a lot of fun being able to be on stage doing the amazing things with the other people.
So let me
thank you.
guess. Just great.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I should
All
have
right.
done that.
Eeny, meeny, miny, Patty. How about you?
I always feel like I have the Cliff Notes version of the answers because mine are always so short and everybody else speaks so eloquently. And
It was shit. I hated it.
no, I had a lot of
I feel-
fun. It was really nice working with all of these guys. And I was saying, well, the last couple of nights, we were like unruly kids behind the curtain. And we were just, I thought, I wonder if the audience can hear us. I wonder if Frankie can hear us because we snickered and made jokes and made fun of anything that we could make fun of just to lighten the mood. But no, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was a good show. And I look forward to working with these people again someday, hopefully.
Oh, Jesus.
Right,
Yeah.
no, I'm just kicking over something that I was cleaning up on my floor. Nothing serious. Very fun.
Don't pull a Teddy Patty. Don't do it.
It's broken glass everywhere. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
Jesus.
do it.
Me running off, walk off stage, blackout, kick it all under the table. Nobody will know.
Cutting your hand on dress rehearsal too.
Oh yeah, that wasn't from the glass though. That was just
No.
I don't know what the fuck I did, but I just looked up. I was like, oh, I'm bleeding. Huh, that's interesting, and I just kept going. All right, who should go next for this one? Sean or Cindy? Sean or Cindy? Let's go with Cindy.
Okay, so it was a long process because I've been helping you with it since June, July, when you first sent me the script.
No, I think it was earlier than that because I was still, doing the drafts and stuff like that around April, and we had met around May or so to do some stuff. So long time.
So it was a long time, and normally, when I'm in a production, it doesn't, you get the script, you do the show, like 2-3 months tops. And so it was a lot to try and sometimes keep the momentum going in terms of the energy to bring to all the rehearsals and things like that. It was a bit stressful. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to come on here and go, you saw roses and candy. We had
no, that's what we're here for.
It was Reg having his health issue was definitely frightening. And then, of course, a last minute lead change. It that throws everybody off. And it's like, okay, are we still going to keep going with this? Who's dropping out next? So it's it was very up and down. And sometimes when you're with a script that long, it's like, is the audience going to like this? Like, because you get so used to it, right? So you start to break it down. Are they going to get this? Am I reading too much into this? Are they going to understand what we're trying to do here? And then in the end, everything comes together. We're being goofy. We're having fun. We are being idiots backstage because we're nervous. So we're doing what we can to keep each other from like collapsing into piles of nervous goo. And it's just, you get out there, you do your thing, you hear the laughs. And at the end, people are like entertained, right? I mean, I'm probably stealing what Sean may be able to say because he said this. It's like if people walk away entertained, right, honey? You've done your job.
That's the key.
So I'll pass it over to Sean
That's
now.
why we're doing it. Yeah.
That was very slick.
Yeah, there you go. Segues, professional segues. No, yeah, it was, and just to echo, I'm going last, so I don't know if I have anything new to say that everyone else has already said, but yeah, it's great group to work with. Couldn't ask for a better bunch of people. Had a very enjoyable time, and I just as Cindy just said, because I had said it to her, was at the end of the day, people walked away and they had a good time and they were entertained. That's kind of the point. Like that's why, and and for us to have fun too. I mean, I almost sometimes enjoy the rehearsal process even more than the show night. Like the show night's great, don't get me wrong, but it's great just getting together with everybody and talking through a script and we're working it out. And I always say there's a reason it's called a play. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're playing. And we get to play, and you don't often get to do that when you're a grown up in theory. So yeah, no, good show, Frankie. Well
Wait,
done.
wait,
You
wait.
did
We're
it.
grown-ups, Sean?
Apparently.
That's
What?
why
I didn't
added,
agree to
that's why
this.
I
There
added
was
in
nothing.
theory. I said in theory at the end.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
I'll say I
On
said that sounds weird.
paper, we're of the Asian
Yeah.
majority. So yeah.
Or at least we try to act like it. We try our best to. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Acting.
Acting?
If I could just say one more thing, because
Yeah,
I don't want to sound like the jerk who didn't say this, but I mean, it was nice to work with people who I've worked with before, but it was also nice to work with people I haven't, that I've seen in other things and over the years. And it's also so fun to work with Annie, because Annie, I've watched you on stage. You're friends with my kid. You know, it's like, now I get to work with Annie. You know, like, it's so fun to watch. And you too, Frankie. Like, I mean, I've watched you guys grow up, and now, you know, you are also adults in theory, and to be able to work with you on a different level, it's really wonderful. And I've wanted to work with Patty for a long time, because I've seen her in lots of stuff. So it was really nice to be able to work with Patty, and Cynthia and I have worked together before, and it's just nice, you know, you get that trust with people that you've worked with before. It again, a kind of like being married to the person who's your married partner, and there's already a base level going in when you can trust the people that you're working with, because you kind of know where they're coming from, and it helps the performances, and also the taking the risks in rehearsal. Like, sometimes rehearsal can be difficult because you have to put yourself in a vulnerable position to try new things, and if you're with people you don't trust, it can be a very uncomfortable situation. So if you're with people you trust, you can be vulnerable, you can try new things, and that's where your character development comes from. So
Yep,
okay, I'm
absolutely.
done talking. I'm sorry.
No, that's
You're the
great.
best.
No,
You're the
absolutely. That was
best.
very, very good. I love that a lot. That's great. Like, guys, like, really, like, thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I thanked you like many times throughout this thing, even last night when we wrapped up. Just thank you. It was definitely a long process, but I think it paid off, and I'm super happy with the end result. And this definitely isn't the end for us, this group. We're going to do something again. I am sure of it. At least I hope. Hopefully you guys were like, fuck, that took too long. I'm not doing it again.
That's all I have in me.
God damn it, I can't do it again for another 6 months. But yes, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for everything. And
Frankie,
yep.
wait, we have to thank you.
Yes.
You took over the lead role at the very end when something came up and Thomas couldn't do it. So we have to thank you for stepping in and taking part in the show as well, and doing as amazingly as you did. I know you already knew the script because you wrote it, so you probably knew everybody's parts anyway, but you gave Teddy a whole new life, and it was even though Thomas couldn't be a part of it, he was there, and we appreciated the spirit of him there. Having you there as well was spectacular, and the way that you took it on at the very last moment was immensely amazing, incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And we are very thankful for you.
And like Thomas,
yes.
I mean, like, shout out to Thomas. I mean, like, it was great that he was able to get to the show last night. It was such a physical role. And with what he's been going through, he was like, I think I can do it. I think I can still do it. I was like, no, it's either.
If it's a think.
Yeah, if it's a think, I'm like, okay, don't risk it. I said, I got you covered, buddy. But he was like, I can help you with whatever you need. And he was there, man. And it was great. And, we got a great support system, guys. We got great people, truly. And so, including you guys.
To yourself.
And shout out to Tristan and Reg. I'm sorry they couldn't be here tonight.
Yes, and Naomi as well too.
And Naomi is amazing.
Yes, Naomi,
well.
our technical director. She's I sent her the info, and then she messaged me and said that not sure if I'll be able to make it. So yeah, shout out to Naomi Wallace, Tristan Eisner, and Reg Saunders. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And so we're gonna call it there, guys. Thank you for listening to the show today. Stay tuned on Thursday. We have a new installment of the Thursday Think Tank with Christian and friends. Stay tuned for that, guys. Super excited. We got a good one. And that's gonna do it for us. So on behalf of myself and the cast and Playhouse Quarrel, thank you all, and we'll see you again someday. We'll meet again. This is where we start doing a song. So this is Frankie. Sean Rule, Cindy Rule, Patty O'Shea, Annika Fournier, and Cynthia Joke signing off. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.